All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into the incredibly captivating, totally organic world of the red-headed woodpecker. You know, it's this wild story of survival and transformation happening literally right above our heads. It's a dramatic life cycle that plays out constantly, day in and day out, yet it's one we almost never actually get to see.
Think about the last time you walked through a really dense forest. When you look up, what you're really seeing isn't just branches and leaves, it's a bustling metropolis. It's this crazy, multi-layered world that is just teeming with activity. And for this journey, we're taking the elevator straight to the absolute top floor of that world, the canopy. We call this the Crimson Canopy. But it's really not just a location on a map, right? It's the entire, encompassing ecosystem where our protagonist's whole existence unfolds. It acts as the stage, the shelter, and the ultimate provider. And let me tell you, it's an environment that demands some incredible resilience, serving as the backdrop for a highly exposed, super demanding existence.
The source material perfectly dubs this the hidden journey. And honestly, that phrase just hits the nail on the head. It frames the life of this bird not just as some dry, clinical, biological process, but as a true epic narrative. We're talking about an adventure of incredibly rapid growth that takes a super vulnerable beginning and transforms it into this vibrant, commanding presence in the forest.
So before we trace out the actual life cycle, we really have to ask ourselves, what exactly makes this profound natural process so unseen by the naked eye? Like, why do we rarely ever catch a glimpse of these critical moments happening in the wild? Well, it all boils down to one simple thing: the absolute, sheer necessity of survival.
Survival up there in the canopy basically dictates that this earliest, most secretive phase of life absolutely has to happen completely out of view. I mean, to be seen at this stage, that means you're vulnerable. And as we all know, nature leaves absolutely zero room for that kind of vulnerability.
The journey absolutely has to remain hidden. Tucked away deep, deep inside these hollowed-out cavities of towering trees, the bird's early development happens entirely in the shadows. It literally has no other choice. Because if you were to look around that tree, the canopy is just packed with opportunistic predators. We're talking rat snakes, crows, you name it, all just waiting around for a single tiny mistake. Okay, so let's break down the actual stages of this journey. We're going to trace the chronological progression of this remarkable growth, taking it from that incredibly fragile beginning all the way up to completely mastering the canopy.
It is basically biological overdrive. We're looking at a progression from a tiny little egg at 0 weeks to a fully realized adult at just 8 weeks or so. I mean, really think about that for a second. In roughly 2 months, a completely defenseless hatchling morphs into a fledgling testing out its wings, and then boom, into a fully independent adult. It's an astonishingly fast transformation, but it's one that's completely demanded by such an unforgiving environment. And it's a sequence where failure at any single point is completely fatal. They start by nesting safely, way high up in the canopy, which leads to hatching entirely unseen in the dark. Then comes what is arguably the most critical moment of all, taking that absolutely terrifying first leap to fledge and test its wings out. Only after surviving that massive drop can they reach the final stage of mastering canopy survival. Each step is a direct trigger for the next one.
Which brings us to the full life cycle. This is the culmination of the journey, where all those individual stages we just talked about unify into one complete, continuous biological loop. The adult red-headed woodpecker, having actually survived all those intense challenges of its youth, is finally fully equipped to carve out its own space and, well, begin the whole process all over again.
Now think about the number 5 for a second. On average, a red-headed woodpecker clutch contains about 5 eggs. So that's just 5 chances per season to beat the downright staggering odds of the canopy. 5 tiny little opportunities to outpace the predators, endure the harsh elements, and successfully complete that crazy rapid journey from the dark hollow of a tree straight into the open sky.
And as we kind of zoom back out here, we can see how this singular bird's hidden journey connects right back into the broader, unending rhythm of the ecosystem. The cycle just continues, feeding directly into the life of the forest itself. In fact, those abandoned tree cavities eventually become absolutely critical homes for squirrels, owls, and a bunch of other species. It really proves that the woodpecker's journey is quite literally building the neighborhood for the entire canopy.
Ultimately, this hidden journey reveals a much more universal story.
It shows us that resilience is just woven into the very fabric of the forest. And honestly, it's a great reminder that the things we can't always see are very often the exact foundations holding the entire ecosystem together.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. The very next time you look up into the trees, take a moment to consider the countless, unseen stories of life happening just out of sight. Right behind every single leaf and inside every hollow trunk, survival is playing out in real time. What other hidden journeys do you think are unfolding right above us in the crimson canopy? Keep that curiosity alive and always keep looking up.